Question: can daily therapeutic memory exercises improve my short-term memory or help reconnect brain neurons through neuroplasticity? 1. Stroke onset and early observations. After my stroke on June 21, 2025, in Northern California, USA, I began experiencing some short-term memory loss and delayed recall, such as difficulty remembering street names, certain related terms, the Chinese name for the Japanese city of Kobe, the word for salmon fish, and other scattered details. Luckily, I have noticed that my accumulated academic knowledge from schooling and reading, over the past 74 years, I started my first grade schooling at age 4, seems to remain intact. In fact, I have even observed that the depth of illustration, angles of analysis, and sharpness in my medical research work since the stroke 1 month ago appear to have improved slightly, something I still cannot fully explain, but it certainly amazes me. By the way, I do not have any symptoms related to vision, speech, or mobility. 2. Motivation for self-therapy. Even though these memory symptoms may seem harmless to my daily functioning, I still feel eager to find a way to conduct self-therapy, to recover what I have lost. So I asked myself a serious question: can structured, repeated daily exercises actually help me recover my lost memory functions? More importantly, can these efforts stimulate my brain to reconnect certain neurons through the effect of neuroplasticity? 3. Research-based confidence. After reading 3 published medical books totaling over 1,000 pages, several peer-reviewed neuroscience papers, I believe the answer is yes, based both on scientific evidence and on my own medical research experience over the past 16 years. Therefore, I am seriously considering starting self-directed therapy, without assistance from caregivers. 4. What is neuroplasticity? Neuroplasticity is the brain's remarkable ability to reorganize itself by modifying existing neurons, forming new neural connections. When I engage in cognitive exercises every day and repetitively, such as memory games, object recall, word retrieval, or story retelling, I am actively encouraging my brain to rebuild or reroute damaged neuron networks. This is not just wishful thinking, it is something I can slowly feel happening in real time, based on what I have learned so far. 5. Daily therapy practices. I applied 2 evidence-based techniques: spaced retrieval training, errorless learning. These methods are widely respected in stroke rehabilitation, and based on the principle, neurons that fire together wire together. Every time I practice, recalling a name, retelling a short story, matching a word with its definition, I am strengthening those fragile neural connections. Day by day, repetition turns into rewiring, at least, that is my hope. 6. My routine: 3 to 4 daily sessions. I now treat my brain like a muscle. Examples of daily cognitive exercise include looking at old photos and recalling names, retelling stories after a delay, reviewing flashcards or vocabulary, recalling grocery lists or object sets, linking visual cues to verbal memory. To support cognitive effort physically, I also reduced walking steps from 10,000 pre-stroke to 3,000 post-stroke, combine light physical activity with cognitive drills, monitor for overexertion to protect my fragile body and brain. Movement increases blood flow to the brain, which enhances neuroplastic recovery. 7. Scientific support from neuroimaging. I have learned that even after injury, the brain remains plastic. fMRI studies show that stroke survivors like me, when consistently engaged in training, can reactivate or strengthen memory-associated regions such as the hippocampus, the prefrontal cortex. The changes are not only behavioral, they are anatomical. 8. Outlook on recovery. While I may never fully restore my memory to its pre-stroke state, I believe I can regain practical function. My observations so far: the memory loss is not severe. The number of affected memories is small. My awareness and motivation remain strong. I have concluded that recovery depends on daily commitment, long-term consistency, willpower and persistence. Neuroplasticity does not stop. It only needs to be reminded, by effort and repetition, that healing is still desired. 9. A personal resolution. So, I continue. I repeat the exercises. I remind myself that every small step counts. Over time, hopefully my delayed recall improves, and my confidence returns. These memory rehabilitation routines are not just therapy. They are evidence of possibility, that even after a stroke, my brain can still find new pathways home. 10. Connecting VMT theory to brain plasticity. Over the past 16 years, I have written 1,320 medical research papers. Among them, about 700 applied my viscoplastic medical theory, VMT method. These studies covered organs, cells, diseases, and lifestyle interactions. The key principle: these systems are nonlinear, dynamic, plastic, and irreversible. In many ways, they are even more complex than the engineered materials I studied and worked with in my earlier professional life. While neuroplasticity and VMT plasticity are not identical, The shared idea of adaptive deformation over time forms a meaningful bridge between my engineering mind and my medical recovery. 11. First entry in my post-stroke recovery series. This is the first piece of writing I have composed regarding my stroke recovery. Interestingly, my last 10 medical research papers have already been focused on the self-diagnosis and tracking of my recent stroke event. This reflection marks the beginning of a new phase, both as a patient and as a scientist. Attachment, Daily Memory Exercise Worksheet. Date, July 27, 2025. This worksheet contains 5 memory exercises, designed for short-term memory recovery and delayed recall improvement after stroke. Repeat daily. 1. Name recall practice. Look at photos of 5 familiar people, e.g., friends, relatives, celebrities. Wait 2 minutes, then write down their names without looking. 2. Object memory test. Place 5 household items on a tray. Observe for 1 minute. Cover the tray and write down the names of all items you remember. 3. Story recall. Ask a helper to read you a short story, 3-4 sentences. Wait 5 minutes, then retell the story aloud or in writing. 4. Grocery list. Memory create or ask someone to read a list of 8 grocery items. Wait 2 minutes, then try to recall and write them in order. 5. Flashcard word retrieval. Create 10 flashcards with a word on one side and definition on the other. Review twice today. In each round, say the word and meaning aloud.